Hello, hello. Let's get into it. Your money problems are that deep. Mine are. My money problems are that deep. My money beliefs are that deep. Because in addition to the beliefs and behaviors that I have inherited and learned growing up from my parents or from my caregivers and those I was surrounded by, I have recently identified two subconscious limiting beliefs around money and abundance. The first one is in regards to planning and saving for the future. I've not really been one who does well to plan or to save for later. And I link that to mental health, depression, self deleting ideation. I never really planned to make it this far, to be where I'm at right now in life. I just thought, after a certain year or event that, I don't know, I was just gonna like poof, be gone. And honestly, ever since then, I've just kind of been wandering unconsciously asleep and just I don't even know, just doing what I'm told to do, trying what I'm told to do, and I also developed a YOLO mindset. YOLO, you only live once. Every day isn't promised, isn't guaranteed. Just do it all now. Spend all your money now. That makes planning for the future, saving for the future, even multiplying money, building, scaling. It just made that a lot more challenging and just something that I guess my body doesn't feel or hasn't felt safe to do. So, yeah, that is planning and saving for the future linked to my mental health history with depression and thoughts of self deleting. Like, how could you plan for the future if you don't really envision yourself for the future, if you don't really see a future for yourself? And the second subconscious limiting belief around money and abundance that I have identified is the belief that I can have financial, material abundance, safety, or emotional abundance, emotional support, emotional safety, but not both. And this comes from an upbringing where I was and still am materially safe, but emotionally, it was absent. The emotions were absent. Emotional safety, not a thing. Mental health, what's that? I don't believe in mental health. What about my mental health? I was materially safe, financially safe, but not emotionally safe. And so I developed this belief that I can have either finance, the money and the materials, or I can have the emotional safety, but never both. And that is not true. I wrote that here, affirming it. That's not true. So those are two subconscious limiting beliefs around money and abundance, financial, material safety that I have identified for myself. If you resonate with this, let me know in the comments. But don't ask me for solutions because I don't really have any solutions. I'm still in the identifying, reflecting, reframing, reshifting, trying, integrating kind of phase. And, even if I did have solutions, it would be different because it's a personal thing. One of the first steps that I like to do is just admit it on the paper, write it down. I am bad with money. I am bad with saving money because it is linked to this. It is linked to my depression and not seeing a future for myself. So why would I save money if I don't see a future for myself? Or I am bad with money because I feel like I have to choose between emotional safety and material safety. And when I try to be emotional safe, emotional safe. Emotionally safe, I spend my money on things that I think are going to provide me comfort. Stuff like that. Just write it on the paper and then look at the words and then try to shift it. If you can't shift it, just write some affirmations, right? So in here, I put the belief that I can have financial, material abundance, safety, or emotional safety, but never both. And then I affirmed that is not true. I can have both, and I deserve both, and I will have both financial, material safety and emotional safety. Just take the first steps. Writing it down is a really good first step, and then from there you can look at it. I'm like, okay, now what are some steps I could take outside of paper? Like, when I get paid, I'm going to put a certain percent of this money into a Roth IRA, into my 401k, or I'm going to invest it. I'm not financially literate, but you know what I mean? It's just like little steps, and it could be a little percentage of your paycheck too. You don't have to put like 20% of your paycheck. You can start with, I don't know, 5%, with what makes you feel comfortable. Practice that and then build it up and re-examine, reanalyze, reintegrate, try new things. You will never know what works for you unless you experiment and try. But really, this does show me that my money beliefs are that deep, and they are tied to my nervous system and my body. If you resonated, do leave a comment, or if you have some advice, or maybe this is your line of work, digging into the subconscious and reframing to identity shifts. I'd love to hear your comments, advice, or maybe you have identified limiting beliefs for you that were different from mine. I would love to know. Maybe I could resonate with them too. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, save, share, repost, and I will see you all in my next video.